Kia ora, Angela. So good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. Dunedin Stories podcast.
Yay.
Dunedin Stories is a new initiative as a part of the Dunedin Store relaunch, capturing real-life stories of awesome Dunedin people. And you are high on my list to reach out to, and here you are today.
Oh, it's a real honour. Thank you so much, Bex.
So we're going to talk about lots of things, including a bit about you and a bit about what you do and why Dunedin and what makes Dunedin the awesome place that it is. Not putting any words in your mouth, of course. But do you want to start with perhaps introducing yourself to our audience and, maybe what you do, but who you do it for?
Well, I'll start with my connection to Dunedin, shall I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm actually a Dunedin, wasn't born here, it was just a technicality, but I consider myself born and bred local because both of my parents were, and I happened to be born in Otago. It was just, Dad was working there at the time, and I also have an ancestor in Toitu. So one of my my forebears was a pre-First Boats European settler. He jumped a whaling ship. So Dunedin is coursing through my veins, and I could consider myself a Dunedin evangelist. I went to primary school here. I went to Alaclave Primary. I went to Otago Girls High, and I went to Otago University. And I just love this city.
Quintessential Dunedinite.
Completely. And so when I finished uni, I thought, well, Dunedin's the most amazing place, but the world's got to be better. And so I went travelling for 19 years and learned during those 19 years that, in fact, Dunedin is the best place to be. So I left at 22, I left with a backpack, and at 41, I came back with a 40-foot container and 2 kids. So it was a very prolific 19 years away. And then since I've been back, I've just been really focusing on giving back to Dunedin and sharing some of my global experience and just doing everything I can to make this place as great as it can be for all future generations as well, in a very modest little tiny way.
Yeah. Well, I know you as, let's say, an entrepreneur, a bit of a serial startup addict, a hero in the startup world for Dunedin, and I know that you've contributed to the ecosystem a great deal. So tell us a little about your career pathway.
Okay, well, again, like all of us, I think I've fallen into a lot of things. So my undergrad degree was actually modern languages. So I graduated with French and Russian degrees. So it's a very obscure entrepreneurial path. But interestingly, it did lead me to my first big break as an entrepreneur. So in the early 2000s, I was living in the UK and I set up a marketing agency for technology companies, and we discovered very quickly that post Y2K and the dot-com bubble, that the biggest challenge that tech businesses were finding was actually acquiring new customers, because they hadn't needed to go out and find them. That customers had come to them. And so the companies with the most pain were the global companies. And so very quickly I managed to take my language background and consolidate their marketing campaigns out of the UK. So we were running multilingual campaigns for national or global brands. And so that was...
I did not know that about you.
Yeah, so that was my first, and that set me up. So I set that business up in 2002. I sold it in 2009, annoyingly after the global financial crisis, but still earned enough that I could retire and come home. Wow. But of course, I came home as a 41-year-old and got incredibly bored because all of my friends were doing exciting things, which is how I got into the startup community here in Dunedin. And so since I've been in Dunedin, I set up Sushi for schools. I don't know if you came across that.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah, and then I set up HAPS, Home and Property Solutions, which is an online service history for your home. I set up Timbr, which was online dating for your house.
I remember. That was awesome.
It was really awesome. I still think that will go at some point. But anyway, and then I decided to put my entrepreneurial experience to getting OCHO, the chocolate factory in Dunedin, to where it needed to be, because it had set up in early 2018 and had 1 full year before COVID hit. So very much still in a startup phase, even though we're 5 years old.
Yeah. OCHO's got a particular sort of special spot for us, for me, for Firebrand, being a part of the initial pledging program that we went out to the community with when Cadbury's deserted us. And
yes.
the Save the Factory campaign, which we designed.
Yeah, beautiful work.
Yeah, thank you.
I always tell visitors to the factory that in Dunedin, Cadbury is the C word. It's a word you mustn't say in nice company.
Yeah. Currently, it's Christmas for me.
Yeah, the C words, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you've taken on OCHO. You're leading the charge on its future. How's it all going?
It's been very hard, I'm not going to lie. But what we have going for us, at OCHO, we have some unique characteristics that I am very grateful for. And the first one, actually, it's difficult to prioritise them, but I'm going to start with the community. So because we are owned by the community, we currently, and I know this number every day because I care, we have 3,738 shareholders. And that changes as people trade. And so that is one of our biggest assets, is a connection to the people and what they want and their connections and their knowledge, and that's just amazing. And so secondly, what we have is we have an incredible quality product just from a food perspective. So OCHO regularly wins medals and awards for our chocolate. Last year we won a gold medal for our milk chocolate. So that's a highly contested category. And I'm incredibly proud of that. And we won a bronze medal for our short black, which is one of our coffee chocolates. Oh, I've got some chocolate with me, by the way. Don't let me forget to bring them out of my bag before I leave.
It's hungry.
Yeah, I know. I was just about walked out of the factory without chocolate. I went, oh no, I'll be the pariah if I do that. And then the third thing that we did, this is probably actually our most important thing, is our values. So because we have this kind of ethical values underpin everything that we do. So we're supporting the local community, our neighbours in the South Pacific. We're paying them enough money that they can live off the sale of their beans, which is not the case with virtually every other chocolate factory in the world. They do not pay enough for the beans, so they know there is slave labour in the production. We don't do that because we buy our beans from the South Pacific. We know there's a very low carbon footprint. So again, most other chocolate, including Whittaker's, the beans are grown in Africa and South America. They're shipped to Europe for processing and then they're shipped back again. So there's a really high carbon footprint before they've even reached the shelves. Our packaging, so we use minimal packaging and it's all home compostable. So our ethical underpinning, so it is really what drives me, because I just truly believe that there is no place for harmful business in the 21st century.
You need applauded for that.
Thank you.
The organisation obviously walks the talk.
100%.
It's really important.
People and planet are our priority. We have to cover our costs, but profit is not our driver. So we use local wherever possible. So all of our suppliers are, if not in Dunedin, as local as they can be. So we want to keep the money in the community.
Love this. I think there's one thing that we do need to clear up for our audience and for our community.
How do you pronounce it?
How do we pronounce it?
Okay, no, it's such a good question, Beck. So there's no logic to it, apart from the cho is soft because it stands for chocolate. So initially it was Otago chocolate. Now, that should be OCHO, but we just say OCHO. So it's a short little initial vowel, OCHO.
OCHO.
Yeah, so Otago chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, that will be the burning question that was at the top of everybody's head.
Yeah.
So that's great that we've cleared that up.
Thank you.
What about the future for OCHO? I know we've had a bit of a disappointment this year with Air New Zealand doing the wrong thing and not selecting OCHO for the in-flight treats.
Yeah.
That was disappointing.
It was deeply disappointing. I still haven't had followed up with them about it because I was so disappointed. It's on the card. I think what I found most disappointing was no practical help as to what we could do better next time. I think large organisations like that have an obligation because we spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of putting a pitch together, and I flew up there for this was ironic. I flew up there, they gave me a week's notice to fly up to Auckland to present, so I spent $1,000 on Air New Zealand flights, and then we didn't get the gig. So that stank. So what the future holds, I think, again, we have to play to our strengths. So we have to play on quality and ethics. And what we've spent this last year doing, or in fact we've been working on it for longer than that really, is creating a bar that will allow everyone to try craft chocolate, because craft chocolate is prohibitively expensive because we don't use slave chocolate, and we pay living wage. So the labour in our product is expensive. But we've got these new 24-gram bars, we call them long bars, and they're a competitor to the Santi bar, and they're priced at a very similar price point to the Santi bar. So we're hoping that the goal is to open up ethical chocolate to the people, and then you can decide. And the beautiful thing about craft chocolate, it's real food. You eat less, you're more satisfied. So it may cost more, but it's better for your body, it's better for the planet. It's all of those beautiful things. So for me, it's around education. It's about encouraging people to think about what they're putting in their mouth. And I know we all have far too many things to think about all the time, but I think chocolate's an easy one. It's a luxury good, and I really, truly believe that we shouldn't be relying on slavery for our luxury goods.
So do you think there's an opportunity, don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there an opportunity for us to see that bar that you're talking about as a point of sale in Night and Days or the local dairy network?
Well, interestingly, so I went up to Night and Days straight away, and they said no. Straight away, I didn't even look at it. So again, there's a unfortunately, which is really disappointing, and I'm not going to stop. Matthew and Alice are going to hear from me again because they're wrong. Yeah. The people do deserve a choice, and they do deserve an ethical option, and they do deserve a healthy option. And then people laugh at me when I say our chocolate's healthy, but because it's got so little sugar and so much cacao, even in the milk chocolate, it's actually really good for you. So yeah, it should be. So this is my goal.
I don't know how anybody could not believe you, Angela. You are so passionate, so transparent.
Yeah, but it's true.
So come on, Matthew and Alice.
Yes.
One day.
Yeah.
We need chocolate in there.
Yeah, we need the people need the opportunity to make their own decision. Yeah, they do. Do you want a wee bar now, Bex?
I'd love a bar.
So this is what I was talking about. So these are long black. So these are vegan coffee. And I've got white chocolate. And now people say white chocolate isn't chocolate, and they're correct, because normally white chocolate, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Is sugar and shit.
Sugar and shit. And I will.
But our white chocolate is 40% cocoa butter. I've actually managed to not bring the flat white, which is what I really wanted you to try. But anyway, I was in a rush on the way out the door. Well, give it a crack.
Okay, long black. I'm going to open this and give it a try.
Please do.
I'm such a long black girl, so I'm pretty sure this is going to knock my socks off.
I hope so.
It's got great crunch.
So it's a 3-ingredient chocolate. It's got cacao, fair trade sugar, and common ground espresso coffee. So we've collaborated. These are the long black, and I didn't bring a flat white with me. That's the milk coffee one. We've collaborated with Common Ground, so another local company. So Nick's been amazing, and they're really promoting them for the cafes, and they're just a wonderful kind of pick-me-up. Our temperas are phenomenal. Like the calibre of talent and experience at our factory is next level. I'm so proud of the team.
Well, our community needs to be a voice for you on behalf of your shareholders of
3,738.
Yeah, that's a lot of bosses as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of bosses.
To support the organisation to grow, really, don't we?
Yeah, thank you. Well,
accessible.
Thank you. Well, this was the whole idea of this. It's just I really believe that real food, real chocolate, everyone should be allowed to eat it. It shouldn't be only for rich people.
Agree, entirely. Shall we move on to something like Dunedin?
Yes, let's.
Yeah. So, I mean, keeping in mind what you're doing and what you've done, do you think Dunedin has played a particular role in supporting you through that? Is there anything in particular about Dunedin that makes it so unique for you?
Oh, completely. Again, having spent 19 years travelling and living everywhere else in the world, and it's not just, I know there's an element of because it's home, but it's not, because when I returned, remember, after 19 years away, this wasn't home. I had to relearn a whole new city. No one was here. Like the people that I'd grown up with, my family weren't here. They've all come back. I've instigated the return. But, everything about Dunedin, the size, okay, so everyone's got their theory, But it's like for me, it's the three things. It's the beautiful nature, it's the architecture and the history, and the seat of higher learning. And those three things, that combination is so powerful. And I just always say this is a city that punches well above its weight.
I agree.
And to live here, particularly to raise children, I was obsessed to bring my children back, to give them as close to the style of upbringing I had as possible. And I've achieved that. And they are grateful. When a kid's grateful, they are grateful they grew up in Dunedin, because they've been all over the world and they've seen all these places and they've lived in other places. And so it's Dunedin is unique.
It is. Any people in particular that you'd like to sort of acknowledge or recognise that have helped you in the last few years in your pathway?
That's really interesting. Not people, but kind of groups of people. So I think I've got a lot of good friends at the uni that I've met since I've been back. I've had a lot of support in the startup community, and that's been really powerful. I think it's funny because, I'm in my 50s, and a lot of people I know are saying it's really hard to make friends and meet people at this age, and I find completely the opposite. This sounds weird, but I meet people all the time that I want to be friends with.
Yeah.
And that's in Dunedin. And so the list is honestly too long but just the groups of people, the passion, the selflessness, the interconnectedness of the groups.
No, I think we're cut from a similar cloth there, Anne.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go a bit lighthearted, shall we, with Dunedin? Let's just post some of those questions that we did give you before, so you did get a chance to have a think about them.
Yeah, and I squandered it.
Yeah. But let's say you've got a friend that's coming to Dunedin, they've never been here before. Where are you going to take them for lunch?
Oh, okay. Where am I going to take them for lunch? I'm going to make a picnic and I'm going to take them out to Ellen's Beach.
Ellen's Beach.
Yeah.
We haven't had Ellen's Beach yet.
Yeah.
What's so special about Ellen's Beach?
Have you ever driven out there when the tide's rising and you can barely see the road? Well, that's the start of the magic. Everything about it. I just find that whole experience of driving out onto the Otago Peninsula, I particularly like to go the high road, and as you come over the brow of the hill just past the Penzance Cattery and Kennel, then you just have the Pacific Ocean and you know there's nothing until South America, and you feel it and you see those beautiful stone walls that have been there for hundreds of years, and just I'm there right now in my head. And so it's just, for me, it's that decompression as you get there. And then when you get to Ellen's Beach and you cross the path, and then there's always sea lions and seals, and it's just you feel like you're at the end of the world, don't you? Yeah. And I always take my visitors there. So I just get a wee picnic and sit in the sand dunes, and doesn't matter what the weather. Definitely, yeah, definitely. Have a thermos of hot chocolate too.
What about a nighttime meal? Where are you going to take them for dinner?
Oh, I've got so many favourite restaurants here. Where would I go? I think I would go Plato.
Yeah.
Have you had Plato?
Oh, yeah. I especially like Plato when they had mutton bird on the menu.
Wow.
Which is very rarely. I don't think they've had it for a while now, but yeah, great place, great people.
Yeah.
Awesome decor.
But again, the food in Dunedin just punches so far above its weight. The quality, the calibre, the choice. It's just amazing. Yeah.
What if you want to get away on your own and just do a bit of pondering and future thinking? Where's somewhere that you escape to?
Oh, I'm a massive Catlins fan. And again, growing up in Dunedin, Catlins wasn't on my radar. I only discovered the Catlins returning as an adult.
Wow.
And
waterfall.
Absolutely. Yeah, the waterfalls, the forests, the nature, I love the petrified forest. That's a bit far for a day trip, but, just... the Catlins is just so regenerating, isn't it?
What about a local event that every year, without fail, unless we're told to be at home, you make sure is a part of your calendar?
Santa Parade.
Oh, great timing. That was not yesterday, the day before.
Yeah, I'm such a sucker. Actually, I've got a really cute story about the Santa Parade. So when we moved out here from England, my daughter was 10, and the first Christmas we were here, I said, we're going to go to the Santa Parade. She went, is it like the Disney parade? Because she'd been to Disneyland quite a few times at that point. And I was like, no, darling, it's better.
But
because it's real.
It was a little bit like that this year.
Yeah.
We even had Barbie and Ken.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's I just love that. I just love the community in Dunedin, It's a beautiful thing.
A little taster of the new and improved George Street.
Yes.
As a part of that experience. So we're all really excited about that, aren't we?
Yeah, it'll be wonderful.
This question I love asking.
Yeah.
So and funnily enough, it's got OCHO in it.
Yeah.
But if you could share a Spates or an OCHO hot chocolate with a Dunedin legend, it may not be with us anymore, or they may be. Who would that be and why?
I'm going to say Glenn Turner. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I do.
Because I am a
husband of somebody very famous.
Yes. Well, yeah, depends. Yeah. So I'm a massive cricket fan. This is my weird passion. I fell in love with cricket. No, it's really left field, and I'm a tragic. Like, I will stay up. We've just had the 2020 World Cup. I basically stayed awake for 6 weeks. So this is how tragic I am. So yeah, I don't know. He's the first person that came to my head. I've just stumbled across Richard Hadley he had his father's diaries from Walter Hadley's diaries from the 1949 Invincibles tour to England, which he's published, and I just bought it the other day, and I've been poring over it. So I'm just really into my cricket history at the moment.
You really are into your cricket.
I collect Wisdons. I am the geekiest geek. Ask me any trivia question.
Now, did I hear right? Susie Bates is playing today.
Yes, at the game here.
Yeah.
If it's this is where I show my fair weather nature. If it's not horrendously cold, I'm going to nip down to the University Oval and support with girls.
Another jacket on.
Yeah, we can. I'll take a sleeping bag. Yeah. So, I guess cricket. That's my thing.
So we all acknowledge Dunedin's a great place, but, the current economic climate is a little bit unknown, and we'd all love a crystal ball. So if you had the power to make a change that you think would greatly improve Dunedin, what would that one thing be for yourself or for the wider community?
The one thing that would be really left field that I think Dunedin could do to make it a really amazing, even more amazing, is we could have we could legalise cannabis in Dunedin. It would be an amazing tourist destination, health benefits, tax revenue.
How do you think we'd go about that?
I have no idea. I have no idea. It was pretty left field,
Okay. Well, I know that there is, a lot of support for that in Dunedin. I think Dunedin was one of the original parties to the legalised cannabis party. And
yes.
Would have been...
I think the country missed a real trick there. It was a deep disappointment, actually. I think, again, one of the many aspects of New Zealand not quite getting the
future.
Yeah, the sign of the times, just reading it wrong.
Right.
Man.
Well, Ange, it's been so lovely to chat. And as a wrap-up, I wonder, is there anything that the community should know about OCHO over the silly season? Let's call it the silly season.
Yeah.
Although it's been a silly year.
It has been a silly year.
How can we support you leading up to Christmas and 2024?
Okay, well, what I'd love the people to know is that we actually 7 days a week now have a cafe open on site. And so you can come in and you don't even need to buy a drink. You can just come and sit down, have a sniff. In fact, we don't offer... we don't make savoury food, so if you want to bring your lunch or something to eat as well, we've got chocolate galore, but if that's not what takes your fancy. The other thing I'd really like everyone to know is that the whole factory is gluten-free and nut-free, and so people with dietary requirements are really safe with us, and most of our chocolate's also dairy-free and vegan. So, it'd be really nice. Come and pop down. A lot of people still don't know we exist.
So, where are you?
That's a great question. Yeah. We're down in the Harbour Basin. So as you're coming over the overbridge from town onto Portsmouth Drive, you'll see our sign next to Leith Joinery and Southern Hospitality. We're sandwiched in between these two guys on Roberts Street. Plenty of parking. And it's not that bad to walk from town either, but it's just a really lovely place to hang out. Smells amazing. And I just want everyone in Dunedin to be proud of us carrying that legacy of chocolate manufacturing that Dunedin's had for so long.
No, there's no questioning your passion and belief in this product. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you.